and then they're like, okay,
oh shit, okay, I guess
spread it wide.
I guess people like this one, huh?
Yeah, that sounds like something I would do. I put it out for 2 days, make $1 million, and then they tell me to spread it wide.
That's a different business.
I think that's where we start.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, everyone. You are tuned in to the latest edition to What the Fuck's Going On Up in Hollywood, or as I like to call it, Picking Up Something Good, a limited event prestige podcast about Steely Dan. Welcome to the continuation of Steely Danuary. My name is Nikki Flowers. Joined with me, as always, is my friend Mace.
Hi, it's me, Mace. So I'm pretty sure Nikki's going to keep the part where I said I spread it wide open.
Oh, I'm editing this, so I'm 100% leaving it in. Thank you so much for understanding. Folks, we also have our guests from the Asia episode. We were supposed to record these on the same day, but then I had a thing, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and now we're here. Hope you enjoyed the Asia episode, and I know you're going to love the continuing appearances of our special guests, Alex and Rose. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
How you two doing?
You guys okay?
You good?
I was doing the thing where I'm trying to let Rose talk before me because I'm trying not to butt in as much.
Here I am
on the podcast that I'm on.
Trying to do the exact same thing.
Oh, and see, you know what? That's like, it's just a podcast tip. Those cancel out. It ends up where neither of you want to talk, which is weird. So feel free, both butt in. It's okay. Crosstalk is fine. I'm editing this one, but I'm also kind of not editing. So, whatever goes in the Zoom call, it's basically going out to the public. So feel free.
That's what happened in the last episode. I was going to edit it, and it took me so long because so much happened. But like, I was editing it, and I'm like, wait, this crosstalk sounds really good. Like, I love the chaoticness of talking about Asia. So we're gonna go Gauch.
We're going a little Gaucho here today, folks, because we are in fact talking about the sequel to Asia, Gaucho. That's the full title.
Gaucho Marx.
Asia to Gaucho.
This time it's personal.
I don't like what Marvel Studios did with Gaucho. Like, I feel like casting Paul Rudd in the role is a little weird, but
his charm wears off real quick as the Gaucho. Like, okay, we get it, Paul Rudd, you're the Gaucho.
Here's the thing: it is nice that he hired Greg Turkington, though.
It's nice to give him another
chance
in the spotlight.
But it's really fucked up that they cut Tom Sharpling out of another fucking
he's 0 for 3
Marvel movie.
0 for 3. Batting 0-0-0. That's not going to get you in the Hall of Fame, Tom.
So we can't even find those scenes anywhere. They're just gone, and that really fucks me up.
No, there's the one from the second movie has been posted, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
I think so. It's shown up
Sharpling
somewhere.
and Worcester?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to.
Or it was like a screen test of them was because it's them in a car with a green screen, basically.
Yeah.
I've lost the plot a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. Because it's free will. It's the Gaucho episode, right?
Oh, wait, hold on. I was talking about an actual movie. I was talking about Ant-Man, where Greg Turkington is actually in. He's in 2 of them.
No, that's where I lost it, and then we went off on a whole Tom Sharpling thing. Anyway, listen, the point is this mess that we're creating right now, right? And we're talking about like lost footage and things that could have been, and also we're talking over each other, and it's an enormous mess. And it might take. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm going to edit this tonight, and I doubt it's going to be tomorrow. So, it mirrors the production of the album we're going to talk about. And this is on purpose. This is fully on purpose. This episode, see, I can't even, what are words? This episode is going to be the Gaucho of podcasts. I'm going to say it right there. I know
we're going to have a lot of problems recording it.
We are going to have a lot of problems.
Nikki's going to hit me with a car.
Yep, we're going to be the one getting hit by the car. Yeah. Hopefully no one dies. We can avoid some of the things, but we are going to be talking about Gaucho, the classic album from the classic band for classic people with class.
The West Coast boys, or the East Coast boys with the West Coast sound.
They returned to the East Coast for this one.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, it's their home turf.
I don't think anybody should go to the East Coast.
No one should ever return to New York City if they've escaped it. Is that accurate? Rose, you mentioned New Jersey like you were familiar with it as a resident. Is that
Oh
a fair
yeah, I grew up
assessment?
there. That's where I'm from.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I want to be
But
very clear
what
about
are you-
something. I'm
what are
very
your
pro New Jersey.
What are your opinion? We are too. Don't worry. It comes from a place of love. But the Steely Dan saga, they go to, I forget, they haven't mentioned what college they went to, but they probably went to somewhere in New York, and they
Somewhere smart.
did some stuff in New York City, but then moved to that West Coast to get that West Coast sound.
Hey, did y'all know that the guy from the I think you should leave sketch, the crazy old man who is only in one sketch in like the car focus
Ruben
group.
Rabassa?
Yeah, he's in the new Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, he is.
That's incredible.
He calls
he's in the trailer.
Spider-Man.
That's
He's
actually
in the trailer, which means they're using him to sell the movie.
This has nothing to do with my question to Rose, but I am glad that you brought it up because that is important information for people to have.
I'm also glad to know this now.
But continuing on, now that we all have that information in our heads, and we will keep it there and cherish it. Rose, what is your opinion on Steely Dan returning to New York to finish up Gaucho? Do you think they made a mistake coming back? But it sounds like you're an East Coast liker. So
I do enjoy
not.
the East Coast. Not so much New York City.
Okay.
That's a trashy. Anyways.
Well, it was certainly
I don't-
something.
I
Well,
don't
it's
wanna
probably
catch flack for that,
nicer in the 70s.
I honestly wouldn't have you tell me that they recorded in New York City, I wouldn't have known, because this is the most West Coast the boys have ever sounded.
This is an album about LA and how much they kind of hate it, but it's also completely recorded in New York City. I don't know if completely. I mean, because here's the thing. It took 14 months to make.
That's a long time.
So what?
I will
all
say-
of my records take 14 months to make.
Yeah, but not like the way that they used those 14 months, because sometimes, Mace, you and I are the same. I've been working on an EP for it's like 15 minutes, and I was supposed to release it like 2 years ago at this point. But what happens is we just get kind of sad, and then other stuff happens in our lives. We just kind of do that. But their 14 months were like hell, hell on earth.
I would argue they probably did get sad. They just chose to
Power through.
In one of their cases, fall into heroin.
Kind of, yeah. So it took 14 months. It features 42 studio musicians, 11 engineers, and it cost at least $1 million to produce, and that is not adjusted for inflation. That is $1 million late 70s money.
Oh my
$1 million late 70s money is
enormous.
That's so much.
There's that Mulaney joke about like a movie costing like $100 million.
Yeah.
And how he'd be impressed to just walk into a room and see $100 million. Like,
yeah.
I feel like in the 70s, people would be impressed. If something cost $1 million, people would be impressed just to look at $1 million.
Yeah. That's the same amount of money that people would just be like, holy shit, that's $1 million.
Like,
and that's like, I would still do that.
$1 million in 1980, 1979.
I feel like if I saw a room full of $1 million, I would still be fairly impressed.
It would be like an episode of Breaking Bad for me.
But I wouldn't be like
Right,
shitting myself.
I just gotta lay on it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to lay on it. But they didn't lay on it. They spent it all. Recording
and recording high.
And editing and recording and recording and recording. Mark Knopfler, one of the guitarists, he I'm just doing like an overview of the production because it's just such a beautiful mess, this album.
Love Mark. Mark's a great guitarist.
Great guitarist. He spent 10 hours recording guitar tracks for Time Out of Mind, a song we will talk about shortly.
10 fucking hours.
10 hours, and he appears on the song for about 15 seconds.
God damn.
Holy shit.
He said, I forget. Oh, I wish I wrote down the exact quote, but something about he felt like he was drowning or something. It was something to that effect.
And it's like it's the most, I think it's the poppiest song on the album too.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like it's the song of the album that sounds the most like the first Steely Dan album.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't we just we'll talk song by song. I'll get more into the whole mess of it, but it took a toll. Before we get started, I do want to just set it up. So Asia, an incredible achievement. Even they agreed. They were like, yeah, we did pretty good with that one. But how do we follow it up? How do we beat ourselves? So they want to try and do that. So 1978, they go and have some ideas for Gaucho. Also at the time, a legal battle starts between them and their record label, which was ABC Records, but is now going to become MCA Records.
Always be Kasuing Records.
Always be Kasuing. They felt very strongly that they didn't owe MCA another album, that they had fulfilled their contract to ABC Records with Asia. And MCA was like, we really feel like you do owe us more of your time and effort because we want money. So get back in the studio, boys. And they were like, no, thank you. Also, you owe us millions in royalties, we just found out. And they're like, oh, no, that was ABC Records that owes you that. We're MCA. So it's like they were trying to
3 different letters,
kind of have their cake and eat it too. You owe us an album, but those royalties, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. So this ended up all the way in the Supreme Court of California.
Oh, boy.
Which took, I think, 2 years. I think many years it took because they wanted to start in 78 and this album came out in 1980. So the court decided, you know what? Yeah, you do owe them the royalties, but you also do owe them another album. Please do make Gaucho. The court is adjourned.
They said that. Please do make the album Gaucho.
Please, we would like Gaucho. So that was the kind of the mood going into it, which I don't think was conducive to a creative and fun environment. What do you think?
I think that we should be court ordered to make more albums.
Yeah, actually, that would get me off my ass.
Yeah.
It would be great to just sort of be given a deadline for the art that I make.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's hard to complain about being like a freelance artist as like a thing you do, because it's like, it must be fun. It's like, no, it's hell. Not having a deadline. You think, wow, I wish I didn't have deadlines. No, the deadlines are so useful.
The deadlines are good, actually.
Help. Yeah.
And also you can just be like, oh, just set your own deadlines. Oh, would that it were so simple, my naive fuck of a friend. Anyway, I'm getting aggressive about
cartoon
the
coming
process.
H1 2023.
I'm also doing something hopefully in February. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the album now, I promise. We're going to talk about Gaucho, but first we're going to talk about the first track on Gaucho.
Babylon Sisters. Shake it!
What do we think?
Fucking great. I've been this has been on my constant rotation since the first time I heard Gaucho. It has been in my playlists. It has been in my car. I drive a yacht rock car now.
It's a good but you have to now. What's the car?
I drive a 2015 Honda Fit.
Is that a yacht rock car?
It's a yacht rock car now. There's a Negative Land bumper sticker on it. You can tell exactly who I am. I'm the only one in California with a Negative Land sticker
Honda
on my car.
Fit.
Yeah, I don't really know cars.
What this car looks like.
It's silver.
Are you driving west on Sunset to the sea?
Always.
Absolutely. I mean, you are that. You live there, right?
I live there. I'm driving west on Sunset all the time.
That's awesome, and that's the perfect time to listen to this.
That's how
when
I get
you're
to
literally
work.
driving west on Sunset to the sea, and you got it. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call this jungle music, but you could have it really loud, and then your partner could be like, "Turn that down," but just until we're out of town.
Oh,
you could recreate the whole song.
I think that I could. That's a good idea. A jungle remix of Babylon Sisters.
Oh, actually,
I dropped a photo of the 2015 Honda Fit in the
yeah. Let's all make fun of Mace's car.
It's
honestly, it looks like a mouse. It looks like a computer mouse that got wheels.
I do like it. It's very cute looking.
This website says it has a frustrating infotainment system.
It fucking does.
We hate your pussy, Honda Fit.
It sure does have a frustrating infotainment system.
Well,
is that what we're calling it these days? Infotainment?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
that sounds like
it's very 90s.
Yeah, that sounds very edutainment.
Feel like they're gonna give me a CD-ROM about it. Anyway, Babylon Sisters is a very, very good song. It is so goddamn smooth. This is like just right out the gate. It's like, oh, you thought we were gonna sound like we moved back to New York? I don't fucking think so. We're the West Coast Sound Boys in the East Coast, motherfucker. And then they did that. And then to really sell it, they mentioned a bunch of California stuff too. They mentioned Santa Ana winds. That's a thing. That's a real weather thing. It brings
sucks.
really hot air into the area, and people go, "Oh fuck, it's really hot." They say that every day, isn't that right?
Yeah, I say that every day. I get up every morning and I say, "Fuck, it's really hot." But I also run hot in bed, so I sweat a lot. Anyway, I'm oversharing. I'm picking up something good to Limited on Prestige podcast about Steely Dan.
Thank you so much. It's better than undersharing. Now, continuing on, it does also mention a San Francisco show and tell. Now, I was going to look up what that means beforehand because I live in the Bay Area, and I figured, oh well, I should probably know what that is. They're usually in sort of Mesa's part of town. But when they come up here in the Bay, I feel like I got to know. So does anyone know what a San Francisco show and tell is? Is it dirty or is it drugs? This is the new game show. Is it dirty or is it drugs?
I think it's when Jello Biafra like sets up shop in like a bank and starts yelling at people.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's an old timey like a burlesque show type thing, isn't it? That's my understanding.
Okay.
Like a theater phrase.
Yeah, you know what? I'm also seeing this, like a strip tease, but like a
making out on Urban Dictionary.
Oh well, all right, Urban
Oh,
Dictionary.
okay.
Actually, you know what? While we're here, can you look up Steely Dan? I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be the dildo trivia, but like, is there anything else? What while we're here. I want this podcast to be as comprehensive as possible about the band. So we got to figure out what Urban Dictionary has to say.
Steely
about
Dan
them.
versus John Lennon in Far Out magazine a day ago. The feud that signified the end of the Beatles era.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Wait,
I was not familiar
John
with
Lennon was taking shots at Steely Dan.
They were
Well,
taking
so
shots at each other.
I did kind of put together after someone online mentioned it, but only a fool would say that is kind of a dig at John Lennon.
Oh, good.
Think about it. Like they're just like so like, oh yeah, peace and love, right? You dick. Like that's the whole song.
Are we sure that Steely and Dan didn't assassinate John Lennon?
Hey, listen, I don't want to get in trouble, but like people are asking this more and more. My friend just asked me this, so the people are asking. The people are asking it. I'm not, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Hold on. Welcome to Skunk Corner. Do we think that Jeff Skunk Baxter murdered John Lennon outside the hotel?
Okay, this actually is the one edit I'm going to be making. I don't think we want Skunk after us. He literally is in charge of missiles. I don't want that heat, Mace. I don't want that heat. Okay, so that's out of here. You know what I like about Babylon Sisters?
What?
It's the return of the greats. They got the fucking heavy hitters. They didn't just go to New York alone. You know who they brought with them? They brought Bernard Pretty Purdy on the drums.
He's back.
They brought YouTuber Tom Scott on the saxophone, both tenor and alto. Yes, it's the same man. Don't look it up.
He's
correct.
so old.
They got Steve Kahn on guitar, another Steely Dan fucking heavy hitter. We're going to talk about him later. He is one of the only witnesses to a lost media crime, and not the one you're thinking of. We're going to get to that after we talk about the album. We also have someone named Errol Crusher Bennett on percussion. I just saw his name and I thought it was cool. Chuck Rainey on the bass.
That's
the bassist,
right.
One of the bassists that made Walter Becker realize, I don't think I need to bring my bass in the studio anymore. I think I could just kind of handle the other stuff.
Errol
He said that
Crusher
his words.
Bennett.
His words.
It's the Beverly's son.
Literally the most Monty Python ass name I think I've heard in a very long time.
Yeah. God. But yeah, so the song is good. There's some smell some synthesizer in there. You sniff any synthesizer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some synthesizer on there. A lot more than on Asia. There's like little touches of it in Asia, but they bury it in the mix. And if you see the Asia documentary that I told you to watch, they're very embarrassed by every synth part that they talk about. Like they just are ashamed about it. But like They're bringing it to the forefront here. They're really stepping into the 80s.
This
It's
is like
like
when
little, like-
this is like when Sparks like picked up the synth and was like, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't," and then they made an entire album where they should and did.
I love their synth stuff the most is the thing. But no, they're a solid rock band too. Rose, what did you say?
I was just gonna say how much of like speaking kind of parallel to that, but the clavinet parts in Babylon Sisters are like perfect. Just like those little tiny touches and
Those
Oh,
little
yeah.
boys.
like the little ending phrases.
Oh yeah, little little sprinkles here and there that just kind of fill it out. So fucking good. The lyrics are about fancy that, an older man creeping after younger women. This is the second catchiest song about the topic on this album. Unless anyone has to say anything else about Babylon Sisters, we're gonna go on to number 1.
Let's do it.
The catchiest song about creeping after a young woman. It's Hey 19, track number 2 on Gaucho. This song fucking rules.
I love this song.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the greatest pop songs ever fucking written. I'm gonna say that right now. It's just a disgusting masterpiece.
It is. But in this song, it goes beyond the concept of the loser and casts Steely Dan as the losers.
They
Well,
inherit.
hold on. Is this
No, this is the Gentleman Loser. Like this is the Gentleman Loser song.
Is
right?
it what is this the argument? Who is this song about? Is this about Steely Dan, or is this about them casting like
So on
a big point at someone like, look at this fucking creep?
on a lot of pressings of the album, a lot of people don't know this, and on a lot of pressings of Gaucho, if you actually look at the back of the record, they on number 2, Hey 19 on the track list, it says, you know, this song does reflect our values and yeah.
Oh no! Oh
and
my god!
actually on
They
the
came
first-
right out and said it.
On the first pressing, on the MCA Records pressing of Gaucho, if you listen to the pre-gap, like on the record, you know, that little bit of dead air, there's actually like a proclamation that Hey 19 is going to be a song.
Oh yeah, they did the
about
backmasking, and if you reverse it, it says "We endorse everything we sing about. We endorse everything we sing about."
No, they didn't endorse everything they sung about until Hey 19.
Oh, I see.
No, I'm
This is
lying.
the first time when we both agreed. Actually, yeah, this is cool.
Hey, wait a second. I'm looking up Hey 19 info. They released this as a single, obviously, but the B-side was Bodhisattva.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't that like fucking 5 albums ago? What are they
They
doing?
used to do that kind of shit all the time in the 70s and
They
80s.
did it with the Beatles, didn't they? Like a lot.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting is all. I'm not even, I guess, okay.
Simon and Garfunkel did that kind of stuff all the time.
Like,
where
I
it's
guess they were like, this is their opportunity to be like, you know what? No, I don't think you all appreciated this when we put it out. So you're going to listen to it again. I think that's actually fair. You know, like how else are you going to do that?
Let's run it again.
Rose.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Michael McDonald, yes or no?
Always.
Correct
He's not on this
answer.
one.
Correct answer.
I don't think he's on this one though. Is he?
Are you sure? Is that not Michael McDonald is in the doing the
No, he shows up later.
Nothing in common. That not
I
him?
I don't
Yeah,
think that's
no,
him.
Michael McDonald it's Frank Floyd and Zach Sanders.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so Michael McDonald to me.
It's
It
a
is.
perfect. It's the Michael McDonald kind of beat.
And it's
I
really
was-
up there in his register, but it's not him.
I am shocked he's not buried in the mix somewhere because I'm like, there's definitely I knew there's a couple guys in there.
They're
Yeah,
too
no.
busy burying him in another mix later down the line.
Yeah. I was wow. Okay.
The
that's
way they
actually-
recorded a ton of his vocals on this album, where like they buried him alive with like a little tube for air and
And for singing.
singing.
the shoveling dirt all over my stupid face. Getting hard to breathe underneath all the dirt.
Okay, so this is horrifying. This song is horrifying. It's incredible, but it's
I love
horrifying.
this guy. Yeah,
Steely's- The
go ahead.
protagonist here is a pathetic aging dude attempting to put the moves on a 19-year-old by bragging about his frat exploits and trying to set the mood with a sweet thing reminiscent of a young Aretha Franklin.
I really
so-
like that he's bragging about how cool he was in college, which is a really funny thing for Steely Dan to do, considering how much
Yes.
they love to talk about how they're from Bard College. And how much like the bit about hey 19, that's Aretha Franklin. She doesn't remember the Queen of Soul. And it's just like, she was still putting out records in the late 70s, man. Like, you're not cool because you know who Aretha Franklin is.
Oh,
A lot of people know who that is, my guy.
in her book Respect, the Franklin biographer David Ritz reports that the Queen of Soul was so enraged by the implication that teenagers wouldn't know her and her music that she consulted with lawyers to
Wait,
see
for
if
real?
she could sue Steely Dan for libel.
Wait, is this a bit?
Holy shit.
No, it's in the Genius Annotations. She was talked out of filing the suit because it was baseless.
That's fucking
Here's the
insane.
thing, though.
Okay.
Here's
I was
the
just
thing.
joking. I didn't believe she actually thought that and was so enraged that she was like, where's my lawyer?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm a little on her side.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think
Yeah.
she's entirely off base with that.
No,
I think the reason she got talked out of it is that it's really hard to prove in court that someone did libel.
Because you do have to go into you have to prove that within the context and the narrative of this song, Donald Fagen is saying to an audience, I think that teenagers don't listen to Aretha Franklin.
Right.
You
He's
have to
doing
find
it
a
from
way
the
to prove
protagonist.
that.
Yeah. You have to prove that, no, he's not actually singing as this creepy guy that he made up, which is obvious. I don't think actual Donald Fagen would say to a 19-year-old, yeah, I bet you don't know who Aretha Franklin is.
You
Like-
have
like
to
the-
you have to prove that
Both Steely and Dan.
yeah, you have to prove that there's nothing in this book that says it's totally cool and fun to shoot John Lennon.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's very hard to prove. I think so the other thing is the point of that verse is that this dude's an asshole.
He's
Yeah.
like the cosmic gumbo guy from I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, I was just
mean
about
Santa
to-
Claus?
Yeah, I was picturing him with a just like horrible sandals and socks, and he's just being so condescending. He is the guy. He's the Tim Heidecker guy.
Can I say something about the lyrics without getting too ahead
Yeah.
of ourselves? I think the lyrics on this album are my favorite lyrics of any Steely Dan album.
Yeah.
I think this is truly the funniest and saddest Steely Dan album.
It's so sharp.
for the exact same reasons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially the title track. But my ideal Steely Dan album is the music of Asia and the lyrics of this.
Oh, that would be like the ultimate. That would be
Yeah.
the ultimate Dan.
Even though the music on this album is really great.
I have to agree. I think that the lyrics being particularly on point and
Yeah.
they're just so they're so Dan. Before we move on to the next song, this is kind of the one where they decided to introduce the latest member of the band.
Oh yeah, the third member of Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are they're working
My
on
king.
Babylon System. Babylon System. I meant to not say that.
Babylon Systems is
Sisters.
a great name for an 80s computer company.
Yeah. Oh my
Right.
god. Yeah.
Like Vericore of Virgil.
Everyone's
Texas.
like, oh yeah, the best 8-bit microcomputer was the Babylon Z100.
Mhm.
No, so they were working on Babylon Sisters, and our friend Donald Steely Fagen. No, he's Dan. Which one did I forget which one I assigned them. Oh god. Anyway, one of them, Donald. He is getting particularly perfectionist about the mix. I think they get up to 274 mixes of Babylon Sisters before he goes, you know what? I think we got it.
Jeez.
274 separate mixes of in the drum track in particular has I think 5 different drummers on it, but all, spliced together to get the perfect take for each little bit. I mean, it was grueling. It was a grueling process for everyone.
There were 55 attempts to complete a satisfactory mix of the 50-second fade out of Babylon Sisters, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, 55 attempts on the fade out alone, not the song, just the fade out. I was getting to that. I'm glad you bring it up because I almost missed it. I mean, that's just nuts. So everyone, tensions are a bit high at one point. And Gary Katz, the producer, longtime producer, I think he produced every Steely Dan album, says to another longtime engineer, Roger Nichols, quote, "Can't you make a fucking machine to make things perfect?"
Yes.
And Roger Nichols said, "Yes, but only if you give me $150,000. And Gary Katz was kind of surprised by this answer because he wasn't expecting even a yes, much less a specific number to a figure to go off of. So he goes, sure, okay, yeah, here's some of the budget, make a machine. And he just kind of goes off and does it. And Alex, what's the name of that machine?
Oh, my metal boy.
Our metal friend.
It's Wendell.
It's our friend Wendell. Welcome to the stage. And welcome to the band, Steely Dan, the latest member.
The computer's
Wendell.
back.
The computer.
This was according to Donald, 3-room computer.
Fuck.
I don't know if he was exaggerating or, well, it was the late 70s, so it could have been true. Here's a quote from the liner notes of Gaucho about Wendell, the drum machine, by the way. I don't think I said that yet. Even the most minute event had to be programmed in the gnarly and unforgiving 8085 assembly language, in which all relevant parameters needed to be described in its baffling hexadecimal-based numerical system, which ultimately became the only language Roger Nichols spoke or understood, at least for a time.
They wrote it in assembly?
And not just wrote it in assembly, as in they wrote the program and that was it. They wrote this shit in assembly every goddamn day.
Holy shit.
This was a constantly reprogrammable computer. Because you know how Steely Dan, they like to get things perfect. Introducing a machine didn't just solve it in one go. Because they were like, yeah, but could the computer move the kick drum a little bit? So Roger Nichols would have to go in. And I've seen a screen. I think Roger Nichols has given a talk about it, which I recommend finding if that is true. The picture I saw looked like he was giving a talk about it, so I would assume. But he had a little snippet of the code, and it was like, oh my God, how did they get this? How did it not take 14 years to make this instead of 14 months?
It's very wonderful that you've got that, and now I can just literally press 2 buttons in GarageBand and replicate every single drum beat on this album.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
You're barely exaggerating too.
No, it's really more like 3 or 4 buttons.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like it's the technological leap from 1980, I think we can all agree was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it wasn't that long ago.
No.
But it's just incredible that you could just like beep boop. Okay, I have Wendell essentially at my fingertips. But they had to get Wendell. They had to create Wendell and build him with $150,000 in 70s money. Again, not inflation adjusted.
So 2 things.
I'm honestly surprised it was that cheap.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, yeah. It is a pretty good price.
2 things. One, I'm glad that the story of Wendell inspired the 2008 film WALL-E.
Yep.
They made him a lot smaller in that one, which was kind of weird. And second, this was something that happened a lot. I don't know if y'all noticed. Something that happened a lot in like 60s to 80s rock bands.
Oh.
So this is one of the more successful versions of that. In the 1960s, John Lennon gave a man named Magic Alex 5.54 million pounds.
Yes, hello, it's me. Yes. What did you want?
To build the Apple studio on Seville Row in
okay. Wow, okay.
So he impressed John Lennon. This is how he got the job, with something called the Nothing Box. It was a small plastic box with randomly blinking lights. And he bullshitted the hell out of John Lennon and claimed that he could build a 72-track tape machine. He pretended to build it, and then he fucking left.
That's so good.
Holy
Shout
shit.
out to Magic Alex.
So
Oh, man.
when
That's
this
amazing.
ties into, if you guys watch the Let It Be system, the Let It Be documentary,
I
when
will
they
not.
went to
I
go
refuse.
record Get Back, they discovered an unusable studio. No 72-track tape deck because he had reduced it to 16 tracks. That's all you can fucking do.
Mhm.
No soundproofing, no talkback system, no patch bay, and the 16 speakers were fixed haphazardly to the walls. And he built the mixing console out of bits of wood and an old oscilloscope.
So that is all incredible, but I have to stress that this is the opposite end of the spectrum to
Yes.
Wendell.
I had to stand up.
Yeah, no, that's
amazing.
a story you got to stand up for and just
He
applaud.
literally presented him. It's the Mr. Burns with the mystery box.
That's awesome.
Magic Alex walked so that Wendell could run.
That's true. Well, so that's great. And so he Magic Alex became a grandfather eventually because Wendell was offered as a commercially available version of it called Wendell Jr. It made his now Roger Nichols' now enormous library of drum sounds just available. You could just get it now. And that was huge. I mean, this guy is like the pioneer of just drum samples, which
Speaking
sounds...
of which, you can buy Wendell right now.
Yeah, Wendell is still a product. Like, this is not...
You can
Like-
buy a Wendell off Reverb if you want to right this second.
You still take up 3 rooms.
Drum.
No, it's like a
machine.
little. It's like a little. It looks like a rack mounted thing.
Yeah, it's not the version they were using on Gaucho, unfortunately. I also like to
I've
point
seen
out
one of
that, I mean,
these.
there are also VST reproductions that are pretty spot on. I think that are like $15, that kind of thing. So Wendell is available. I really highly recommend getting Wendell. I like the samples. Very clean, very clean samples.
Wait a
So-
second.
Real
I
quick,
can't find Wendell. Hold on. Wendell on like Reverb or something.
Rose,
Yeah.
what's up?
I just wanted to say I've actually seen one of the like older models of the Wendell. The place where I went to college had a really good music technology department because somebody in like the DC area who died basically said, "Okay, here's all my studio stuff."
Mhm.
I had like one of these original Wendell machines. It's
The
like
Wendell
one-
or the Wendell Jr.?
this like it might have been a Wendell Jr.
Because I think the Wendell Jr. is the one that got into like
this Wendell Labs digital audio system. Okay, yeah, Wendell Jr. Yeah,
like
okay.
Wendell is specifically Roger Nichols' son.
Yeah, not the blue computer.
Yeah, but Wendell
But the-
Jr. is
The
like
Wendell Jr. Yeah.
the cloned son of Wendell that Wendell gives to the world
Yeah.
because he likes to share his son.
Yeah, they had this whole like audio rack, and they had a Wendell Jr. and
so
a couple other
cool.
things. That studio also had like one of the first vocoders that had ever been put into production.
Oh shit.
It was really cool.
We got to get back into the studio and record Gaucho 2. Sounds perfect.
I think we
Yeah,
could do a
I'm
really
gonna-
good job
I'm
with
a-
Gaucho too.
We could even call it the second arrangement.
As like a super group, we could do Gaucho too.
Oh, we're cool. The next song we're going to talk about, it's Glamour Profession.
I mean, I feel like every Steely Dan
British
song is
way.
about a coke dealer. at this
Yeah,
point.
this one is specifically about a coke dealer.
I love this song. This is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, this is one of the songs fighting Hey 19 in my brain for the
Same.
number one spot. This is
It's-
such a groove, such an
So good.
endless groove that you want to live in.
I love. Okay, two things in the song that I love. In the first verse, special delivery for Hoops McCann. I want to change my name to Hoops McCann.
I know.
What a name.
And also, when it's all over, we'll make some calls from my car.
Because that was notable at the time.
That was notable, and it reminds me of just like I can imagine Steely and Dan having these like kind of like arm mounted like portable phones.
Like in a leather, this
Oh.
leather car phone, this like really
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
But then you look at it today and the LCD screen is like 10 times worse than your worst display you have in your house, and it's like a car phone. Just get a cell phone. Like, it's just not a thing that exists anymore. It's just very funny that it's
but it's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I gotta be honest, y'all.
Yeah.
I think this is not. I don't really care much for this song.
You're not a fan of Illegal Fun?
No, I'm not a fan of Illegal Fun.
No. How much?
I mean,
well, so you, how much would you
legal
spend
fun for her?
So what? You're not going to spend a quarter just to shine the silver bowl? Come on.
Listen, I look. This whole album is really well done and really. This is the song that I like the least on the album. I think every album's got to have like a sort of, the weakest song just by default. There's only
Nobody's Nerfect.
Yeah, Po Buddy's Nerfect. There's only like 7 songs on this thing.
Yeah, 37 minutes,
yeah.
I think. So it's a short one.
I just, for some reason, it just never clicked with me. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And usually these kinds of songs I really do enjoy. There's something really great proto techno about the entire overall structure of this song that I really admire.
Bouncy and driving.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it, but it's the one that I come back to the least. There's always got to be one.
Hey, we had a guest on that didn't like the band at all, so like we'll accept your
he's actually
very light criticism.
He's actually a great follow. I really appreciate all the work he's been doing to raise the awareness of hash browns lately.
Oh my god, so much so. Shout out to Zach, the mayor of hash browns. This is one of my favorite songs. It's just so fucking funky, so fun. It's hard to really say. I mean, this is the problem. The more I like something, the less I have to say about it.
Okay, I gotta be honest. This album is so good, and it makes me want to do cocaine. Like, I know,
recommend it.
I know it's probably like not a great idea to do cocaine, but like they make it sound really fun.
I already have high blood pressure. I don't need that shit. But I mean, I will say, if it feels as good as this song sounds, I understand why people get into it.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I'm never gonna do it, by the way. Just don't be afraid of me.
Nah. Don't do coke. Just stay California sober like me. I want to point out that this is another appearance of the Lyricon, that very weird synthesized wind instrument that only Tom Scott has, basically. Lyricon's here. A lot of synthesizer. Donald Fagen on synth here. We love to fucking see that. Yeah, I like it, but it's not. It's a very simple it's just a good hang to just listen to.
I love it. To me, literally, I just the bit of like the illegal fun. That's my favorite. I love that. It's my favorite thing. It gets stuck in my head constantly.
It's extremely. It has many bits that are catchy in different ways that all flow together very well. And I feel like it doesn't even. It's a 7.5 minute long song. Doesn't feel like it at all. Doesn't overstay its welcome.
Nope. Also, I want Mr. Chow's. We should go to Mr. Chow's.
Yeah, when I learned that was a real place, I was like, oh, I kind of want that. I like Chinese food.
Mr. Chow is still open in Beverly Hills. So we could all go to Mr. Chow. I mean, it's $4 signs, so like, but we could go.
Let's all go to Mr. Chow's.
Well,
how many of those
dollar
signs
like $4,
do you think are, as a result, are being mentioned in this song?
No, it's also on Rodeo Drive.
It's Rodeo. Common mistake.
Yeah, it's Rodeo Drive, Maze. Come on.
Hold on, let's go to the menu real quick. The Postmates menu for Mr. Chow.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Chow's and Postmates. What a world we live in.
Please.
You can get Ma Mignon for $68.50.
What about the Szechuan dumplings?
Yeah, let's recreate what they got.
So they don't have Szechuan dumplings, apparently.
Oh, fuck off.
They have water dumplings.
Okay.
As a first course for $28.
Jesus.
How many dumplings though? I gotta.
It looks to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.
Ooh, I mean, they better be really good dumplings. I don't know.
It's pushing it.
I'm like, yeah, okay, you did get a shout out in one of the better Steely Dan songs and one of the better albums, but like, I don't think Dr. Wu like raised his prices after getting a mention.
By the way, beverages at Mr. Chow Beverly Hills, that's how you know this is rich people shit, because they only have water. They have sparkling or still. Fiji water is $10 and sparkling water is $10. Also, their steamed rice is $16, something I could buy for pennies at the fucking Ralph's.
I have officially turned against this restaurant.
That's a little much. Let's go meet at a.
Hold on, you can get lobster for $95.
I have officially turned against this restaurant.
I would never eat a lobster in my life. I would never do that.
Oh man, next song.
They look like bugs. Okay, let's talk about Gaucho.
That's why I eat them.
Oh, okay. I bet the Gaucho would eat it.
I told y'all my New Year's resolution this year was to eat a bug, right?
Oh,
What?
no.
No.
Have you done so yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to find the best way to do that.
Yeah.
That is not just me finding a bug and eating it.
You can get like, does it have to be living?
No, not at all. I mean, just like
no,
I want.
You can just buy them in cans.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could just buy they just my friends got like roasted, like a bag of roasted crickets.
Ooh.
God, I'm thinking of like roasted crickets being done up like barbecue peanuts, and like, yeah, I kind of do want to try that.
So there you go. All right. So if anyone's in the market for a bug snack, there you go. And might I recommend a video game called Bug Snacks?
That's not that fun.
It's not that fun. Gaucho is, well, I was gonna say more fun than Bug Snacks, but it's not.
It's not a fun song.
Not a fun song, no.
Disagree.
I like it. No, I like it, but it's not fun.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah,
it's rare that the title track is my favorite song on an album. But just like this one is just actually, it's very funny and very sad, and I think it is so detailed about the kind of person we're talking about that this has to be a true story.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because there are many interpretations of the song that this is just in, it's another one of most of their songs, they're not about a specific guy. They're about like an archetype or like an amalgam of people they know, classic creative type shit. You're correct. And that this is such a specific, I mean, they're very good at talking about the human condition in a way that is very like, you can tell they know about people, but this goes so far into it that is like, all right, who are you talking about?
I think they're
fess up. Who are you talking about?
The only reason this song is called Gaucho is because they didn't want to call it Dave.
Yeah, it was like a little too on the nose. And they're like, we got to give him a nickname or something. God, he's gonna know. He's the only one we know who wears ponchos still. So
Nick Tomlinson from Smith Street. No, we can't call it that.
Why do you insist on doxing him too? We can't do that.
Jim, who owes me money.
But before I forget, this you know how the whole album was kind of in a whole legal thing? This song in particular had its own legal thing, like separate from the other legal stuff.
Yeah.
They were sued by Keith Jarrett for lifting the bit at the beginning, the piano intro.
Oh yeah, he's credited.
From a composition, long as you know you're living yours. Huh. Well, that's part of the settlement. He was awarded a share of the royalties and composition credit. Yeah. This is also not the first time they've done this. This is a classic jazz thing, though. Like, that's a thing. Like, sort of like lifting bits from other jazz songs and kind of reinterpreting them, or like putting it as the intro.
I think that this song is about Walter Becker's addiction.
That is that's a common interpretation, and I want to say that makes sense. I don't know that we're supposed to take all of this entirely literally. Like, some people are like,
Nikki, they said it on the back of the record, and they said it in the they said that they stand by everything they wrote.
Oh yeah, that's right, and everything they say is true.
Yeah.
Right, everything happened. It's a documentary album.
Apparently, I'm reading the line "Holding hands with the man from Rio," the annotation. The figurative man from Rio in this situation is either Becker's addiction himself or an actual South American drug dealer who is rumored to have appeared at a meeting with MCA record execs. Did they call the guy in and be like, "Hey, can you please?"
No, so I've heard a number of interpretations. I've heard that interpretation that the Gaucho is Becker's heroin dealer, and that he does show up. That's the first verse is the time he shows up at the meeting. Just when I say, "Boy, we can't miss, you are golden," then you do this, like, oh great, we were going so good, and then this guy shows up, right? But I don't is that I couldn't find anything that they said that confirms that. I don't know.
Right.
It seems too perfect that the Gaucho is a drug dealer. I really do think, and this is the interesting thing, right? If this is about Walter Becker, then it is a very deeply personal song because he is the one that wrote the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I do want to believe that this actually might be kind of, an introspective song about like him thinking about what he's doing with his life and the people around him at the time. I think that's how I've interpreted it. I think it is, no matter what it's actually about, if it's even about anything specific. I think it's really deeply moving. I think the like, it's not cold anger. It's like an anger of like, come on, man, just be better than this.
It's that anger you have at someone who, if you had not been their friend and or business partner for decades, like it's the anger you would have that you would like, either you would throw this person out if you weren't basically tied to the hip.
And that's such a special connection to someone, a special infuriating relationship to have. And I think this, I don't know, I really don't know. That's the beauty of the Steely Dan oeuvre. It's open to interpretation. I imagine it could be slightly maybe not fully autobiographical. Because his heroin addiction gets pretty bad. It starts straining the relationship between him and Donald. It makes working on the album difficult. It also leads to the death of his girlfriend in January of 1980.
Oof,
yeah.
Unfortunately, this is a big part of the whole thing about Gaucho. She overdosed and in his apartment in January, and he was not found, at fault for it, I think, officially, but the family of the girl disagreed very strongly, let's say.
Yeah.
And sued him for, millions of dollars. And that went back and forth. So just add another lawsuit to the pile of Gaucho related lawsuits.
Never mind, this isn't a fun song anymore. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, it's not that fun a song, is it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Nikki.
Sorry to bring the tone down a little bit here, but no. So that was settled out of court. He it's not like he was like, pleased about the situation. He felt awful. I think it was
that's the kind of lawsuit that you almost are. I can imagine you're almost begging to be found guilty just so that you could have like something about it end. Just so that there's some sort of closure or finality to it.
I do want to give Karen her flowers a little bit here, because she was credited on the Royal Scam, Pretzel Logic, and Asia. And she was a photographer that took a lot of pictures of Steely Dan. And she was basically their road manager.
Very tragic, which kind of, it's funny because it leads into the heroin song of the album.
Yeah.
Pretty darkly funny, sort of, I get a lot of fun energy and time out of mind. What do we all think about this?
I love
this song. I'm trying to think of how do I feel about this song. It's kind of like Uncut Gems. It's the song where I'm like, oh wow, it's a good song. This feels good to listen to. And then I remember what it's about, and I'm immediately just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Have any of y'all seen the stand-up, quote unquote stand-up play, Oh Hello?
Yes, I actually saw it live.
Yes.
Which is where Steely Dan, it plays a narrative part of the show.
I am
Sure
now
does.
remembering this part of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, this is so there's a fake Steely Dan song in the show, but the walk-on music is Time Out of Mind.
Mhm.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think that's very
Yeah,
appropriate. Because
absolutely.
it's just like what the show is about. I think it is very funny for them to walk onto this song about this loser who's really, really, really excited to do heroin.
And like really selling someone else on it, right?
Come on,
Like-
it'll be fun.
Listen, oh my God, it's so you know why I'm so happy? Let me tell you something. The big H. I got a lot to show you, my friend.
When I chase the dragon.
Yeah, so this actually I think won the battle. I think this actually might be my favorite song on the album.
Ooh.
I think you know what? Upon reflection, yeah, Nikki, I think I'm up there with you.
I had a really this is a good time to go into this spiel. The journey I had with this album. I am kind of glad it took a little bit of time to get to here, because it gave me time to really mull this shit over. So first listen through of the whole album in like a critical, like I've heard it a bunch of times before we started the podcast, but like, because I mean, it was partly why I wanted to do the podcast, but like the first listen through of like really listening to it as like a critic, I was like, yeah, no, I was right. And the casual listen throughs, this thing is perfect. And then, and we'll get to this after we get through the official track list. I heard all the demos, the missing songs,
Yeah.
all the various bits and bobs. Hold on one second. Sorry, I thought someone was knocking at my door.
Talk about the second arrangement.
Oh, we'll get there. And then that made me...
I haven't heard any of this.
Oh, well, it made me miserable. And then it made me think that the album just... it's just not perfect. Could have been perfect, and it's not perfect. And then I went back and forth on a lot of songs, like Babylon Sisters I liked and then didn't like. And now I like again. And then like... You know, we haven't gotten to it yet, but we'll get to Third World Man. And the Time Out of Mind, I was just like, all right, this is just too much. But now it's my favorite song in the album. It's really, I think it might be my favorite Steely Dan album too.
Yeah.
I think the imperfections make it beautiful.
And also the fact that Michael McDonald's on it.
Yeah, Michael McDonald's on this
Yeah,
one. I'll tell you that right
is.
now.
Yeah.
There it is, for sure.
Kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah, I like the part where he says "light in my ass."
Where does he say that?
He's the way he's the light in my ass. He says eyes he kind of says eyes a little bit, you know, with a little stank on it. So it makes it a little bit sound like he's saying light in my ass.
That's Michael McDonald in the 70s was really into sunning his perineum.
It's a horrible phrase. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a
Like white women do.
That was such a specific phrase. I don't think you could have invented that whole cloth right now. Sunning your perineum.
No, that's a
That is
really
very LA thing.
Fucking
God,
LA. You know, they
I
were
don't-
right
I
to make a
don't
whole
sun
album
my-
about how LA sucks.
I don't sun my perineum. I should.
I bet
I'm
you
not
do.
saying that you do it. I'm saying
I'm
that...
saying it now. I bet he does.
Yeah, I'm gonna start this rumor.
He knew to reference that way too quick. So
That's how I sneak in my
J'accuse
confession.
J'accuse of perineum sunning.
Whoever smelt it sunned it.
Yeah, exactly. I am upset. I really am. I got obsessed with the song last week to the point where I just listened to it on a loop for like an entire day.
Mhm.
I don't do that to a lot of songs. There are some songs I just like, there's the layers of it. Oh, the whole album is produced immaculately. Obviously, I'm burping because of all of my feelings. They're trying to escape all at once. But every song is worth multiple re-listens because of everything that is buried in the mix. And this one is so nice, but You know, it's funny because the thing with Babylon Sisters having 274 takes, part of that, most of it, was Donald Fagen's insistence that the drum track of Babylon Sisters was not perfect. It needed to be perfect. But there is a like outstandingly obvious flaw in the drum track to Time Out of Mind. And I'm trying to find the exact bit. I wrote it down somewhere, but there's a part in Time Out of Mind where I think around the 1 minute 50 second, I'm like trying to remember. There's like one snare in the entire song that's just weirdly really quiet.
Hold on, I'm pulling the album out on my headphones.
I'm willing to edit the part out where we just listen to the song to make sure I'm thinking of the right one.
Yeah, you're fine. Hold on. Actually, I think it's in the chorus. But I did notice one beat like being weirdly
in the chorus
quieter than
usual.
Very weird.
Yeah, it's like if it's obvious enough for us to hear it, like
damn, my boy Wendell fucked up.
How? Yeah, Wendell. It's Wendell's one mistake.
They actually burnt down Wendell after finding out that he made a mistake.
No, that's why they had to make Wendell Jr.
They killed Wendell in cold blood.
Oh, they killed Wendell. No, anyway, I thought it was funny because, you know, they just left in just a little bit. It's like such a perfect, it represents the album in this whole album where the whole entire point was to perfect Asia and do better than that. And like to the point where you're just doing thousands of takes of every song. And you just leave in that one weird little obvious mistake. It's just perfect. But no, everything about the rest of the song is perfect, actually. The line delivery on I am holding the mystical sphere is the greatest Donald Fagen vocal take of all time.
I am now holding the mystical sphere.
I would say, yeah.
He hits it so hard and heavy and it works. Yeah, I love this song. One of the Steely Dan songs of all time.
Did I also see right that Mark Knopfler does were you saying that there's just like a 15-second guitar solo for this? But they record. You said you were going to record for 10 hours.
This is the song he spent 10 hours on and appears in about 15 seconds worth of material. He does it great. You know, there's a reason Donald picked that 15 seconds. The reason I keep referring to Donald making a lot of these decisions and not Steely Dan. Well, you know how January 1980 really sucked for Walter?
Yeah.
About 3 months later, he gets hit by a car.
Whoa. Don't mean to laugh.
Yeah. But
really just piling it on it.
Right. Like,
God.
Yeah, really kick a man when he's down, why don't you? You know? And that, I mean, that makes it like this was a tough album for him. Walter really fucking went through it this time around.
Yeah, they let him have it.
It was a cab specifically. He was hit by a cab in Manhattan. Yeah, which is like, I have also been hit by a cab in Manhattan.
It's really easy to get hit by a cab in Manhattan, so I don't blame him.
Yeah. His cab was seemingly going faster than mine because I was just merely bruised. But he was forced to walk with crutches while recovering.
You know who also got hit by a cab in Manhattan recently? Flansburgh, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
No, so Flansburgh was driving home from a gig and a car hired for him to take him back to the hotel, and a drunk driver rammed the side of their car.
Oh,
ooh,
fuck.
Damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was he was in a cab. Well,
No, it was a
Ooh,
yeah.
that's rough.
He made a very quick recovery. They were back on tour like 2 months later. This dude's in his 60s. It's incredible.
Yeah, legit
That's
shout out to
amazing.
Flansburgh.
Yeah. So yeah, people getting hit. And it was in New York too. So yeah, people getting hit in New York with cars. Watch out there. New Yorkers.
That's just how New York works.
Everyone's and the city never sleeps or uses their brakes.
That's true.
Time Out of Mind, good.
Time
Let's
Out of
move
Mind,
on
Real good.
to my rival.
Your rival?
My rival.
You're right.
Yeah, everyone knows my rival, Will Wheaton.
Oh, fuck Will Wheaton.
Fuck Will Wheaton.
That guy sucks.
I hope he's been listening to this the whole time, being like, I love them, and then Will Wheaton, we're like, fuck Will Wheaton, and then he's like, no.
Oh no. And then he's gonna try and put me on his Twitter block list, but it turns out I'm already on there, so you can't do shit to me anymore.
Are you blocked by him?
No, I'm not only blocked by him, but I'm on his very, very widely used block list full of Nazis and trans people he found annoying once.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, he's
Hey,
my
Will
rival, and the song is about him.
Will Wheaton, if you block me for saying fuck you, I work on Star Trek. You can't do that.
You literally can't do that.
That's illegal.
It's part of the Star Trek code.
Right.
I like this song.
Yeah, I love this song.
It's like a real slinky kind of, I don't know. It's got a swagger to it. Yeah, it's a real cheeky boy of a song.
It's a little. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I don't know. Guests, our esteemed guests, what do we think?
I like it. It's super bouncy and weird and fun.
I feel bad about this, but if there's one thing, my one criticism of Gaucho, I don't like My Rival. I don't like this song.
Yeah. What is it not doing for you that the rest is?
It just doesn't stick. I feel like so much of this album really sticks out in my mind. There's certain bits and pieces that I'm like, oh yeah,
they get lodged
forever. Exactly.
Yeah. Like the bit about the mystical sphere, it's like stuck in my head.
Right, exactly. Or like the illegal fun bit. I'm gonna be thinking about that until I'm just dead. I can't remember the song. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, what is this? What?
Yeah.
This is on Gaucho? Okay. It's not a bad song. I don't think it's a bad song. I just don't.
It's the low point.
It's just it's a nothing song for me, unfortunately. It just doesn't do anything for me.
That's fair.
I had it actually did take, this was the song out of all of them that took the longest for me to like get. So like I understand. Like if I had if I had only listened to this twice for the show and then reviewed it, I'd be like, yeah, this one stinks. But no, I think this grew on me. It is also not my favorite, but I don't know. There's something about it that, like the chorus, like the way he sings Jolly Roger. That's another one of those like hooks that get stuck in my head now. I don't know. It's good. I
do like the chorus. I will say that I do like the chorus. The chorus is a really good part.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, not a bad song, not as memorable for me. Great chorus, though, I will say.
Yeah.
By the way, the official Steely Dan website has a 2022 tour shirt with the Anthony's Bar and Grill logo on it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Wait, did they tour last year?
They've been touring.
Donald Fagen is, at least, rest in peace, Walter Becker. They've been touring. Did they? Yeah. They didn't take COVID off?
I think they took COVID off.
Okay, but everyone is pretending that it's over, and so 2022 was the first year that we started doing that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a $45 shirt. I wouldn't buy it.
That's the problem. Listen, musicians out there, cheaper shirts. Come on.
Also, there's an Asia crew neck that they sell that's $70. I don't know.
Oh God, I kind of want that though.
I'm never gonna get those sweatpants, am I?
I love those sweatpants.
I found out that
the sweatpants.
The sweatpants are so good.
Auxiliary friend of the show, Juan, has the Asia sweatpants.
Right. No, I saw that too. I told him, I was like, oh, I'm insanely jealous.
Hell yeah.
They're so good.
We got to talk about the last song on the album before we talk about the rest of the album. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Third World Man.
Third World Man is good. Third World Man is a song about Jack White.
He's the third world man. He does do a lot of crouching on the lawn.
Did he name it after the song? His little enterprise?
Alex, you know more about Jack White than me.
Is that a direct reference, or is that just a sort of?
No,
I mean, are we in the? I got a cat right here too. Hold on.
Oh, cat on the pod. Yeah.
Oh.
Say hi, cat.
Okay,
meow.
Her name's Ripley. She hates being here.
That's fine.
I mean, in universe, do you want a joke answer or do you want the real answer?
Joke answer, then real answer.
Okay, joke answer, yes.
Good joke.
Joke answer, yes, it is related to this song specifically.
Yeah.
Real answer, it's called Third Man Records because of the movie The Third Man, which is a really great
yeah.
noir movie with Orson Welles.
Right, of course.
That Mike White is a really big fan of.
Oh, see, I prefer to imagine that he was the third man doing 9/11 because that's how I feel about Jack White.
Oh, I just assumed Jack White was the third man. Like there was Adam, and then there was Steve, and then there's Jack White.
Between Steve and Kane, there was Jack White.
And if I understand the new Robert Eggers movie, Joaquin Phoenix. Anyways, he might be the fourth man. There's
a new Robert Eggers movie coming out.
Yeah, it's called something to do with Bo in the title.
Oh no, that's the new Ari Aster movie.
Or Ari Aster, thank you. I don't mean to confuse the two.
Speaking of my rivals, anyway,
more
That
rivals.
movie looks good, by the way.
It does.
So Third World Man, what is this song about? What is this song about?
Third World Man.
What do we think?
Say.
What do we think? Well, Genius doesn't know what any of these songs are about. It's just like whoever had the best interpretation. I don't know.
It's just
how
like
Genius
guys.
works.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of guys that. Who are they? But like, what do we think the song's about?
Well, first of all, Genius says they think it's about a child soldier, which I don't know.
Again, they say like this is Johnny is a child soldier. Like it's fact.
What?
It's
Like,
like how every Animal Collective song is about drugs to songmeanings.com.
Right. Like the Genius annotations are like helpful to know how people are like interpreting it generally, but like they state it as if it's like the fact, which I always find annoying. Because then people will look up a song and go, "Oh, I guess that's what the song's about."
I always got the idea of it being like a war veteran.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a child soldier, but I think it, and this might be a very literal thing, but when I read by it has like the lyrics feel like hypervigilance.
Yeah, the fireworks bit. I saw the fireworks. I believe that I was dreaming till the neighbors came out screaming. Seems like very like.
But also like the in the chorus too, just talking about like wanting to keep the sidewalk safe for the little guy.
For the little guy.
It's a very like hypervigilant.
It's his birthday. You wouldn't hurt the little guy on his birthday, would you?
You wouldn't throw down your disguise for a little guy, would you?
He's talking about this song is actually about video games because, as we all know, there's always a little guy in video games.
That's the whole thing about a
Video games are mostly about a little guy,
and you know, when the sidewalks are safe for that little guy,
it means you can play your Game Boy there.
We will have true world peace.
You get rid of all the Koopa Troopas. Because they're not on the sidewalk anymore.
So that the sidewalk can be safe
me.
for
my jokes aren't good this.
Do you think Steely Dan ever played Super Mario Brothers?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's the whole thing. They got real high and played Super Mario Brothers.
I don't even think the 1980 was Donkey Kong 1980 or 1981.
Donkey Kong is 81.
They had Wendell. I'm going to say that they had like early video game stuff.
They had Pong.
They were very they were very quick to record to digital. I mean, these guys liked technology. Yeah, I could see them. Yeah, maybe Walter Becker had a Pac-Man phase. Who knows?
Maybe instead of
real quick, I gotta put hold on. I gotta put my pizza in the oven. It'll be 1 minute.
Okay, pizza time. Sweet.
I was gonna say maybe if they if they recorded Gaucho today, they would have.
You couldn't record Gaucho today. What with cancel culture?
you threw me off.
Sorry.
Maybe they'd have an addiction to Fortnite instead of to heroin, and the song would be about the
glamour profession would be about
the song would be about the Fortnite V-Bucks.
Yeah, you're trying to give Hoops McCann
a victory royale.
I'm really excited for Epic to put Hoops McCann in the Fortnite in the next season.
He's Jungle Jim again.
He's gonna be there. Yeah.
He's Schoolyard Superman. He's gonna get #1 victory royale.
Speaking of Epic, isn't it crazy that like Epic bought Bandcamp like a year ago and then nothing has happened since? I thought they were gonna.
I'm so worried.
I was really hoping they would like.
I feel like they are waiting for everyone to forget that they did that until they do something. Like I'm just like I don't know, a giant company like that doesn't buy a thing like Bandcamp because they like artists. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
All right, guys, I'm back. Epic just threw a rock through my window.
oh God. Okay, we
Oh,
should
And they
move
found
on
out I
before.
have a Bandcamp, and they said they're doing it to everyone now.
Oh, shit.
Damn it.
Oh,
All
no.
right.
Are they-
Well,
are
the
they-
shoe dropped.
They're making you scan yourself to put you in Fortnite.
Fucking
Yeah.
knew it. Actually, it'd be
But
kinda
at
cool.
least I'll finally be able to get that vinyl campaign.
Yay.
Nikki, you know you're the only one on Neodetritus with the vinyl campaign activated.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. I'm sorry.
Wait, well, so how do I, what?
You
You
can
can
do
just tell Bandcamp, hey, they gave you the access, and it's like, hey, I want to make one of my music things a vinyl record. Can we do that? And they'll say to
Oh,
you,
I see.
yes.
I'm the only one that has that option?
yes.
Why?
I don't know.
I always get I don't know. I must be on some like special little guy list because like when I was in Chicago, I got invited to like a meetup that like barely anyone got invited to. And then and there was like writers there. I couldn't make it because I had work. But like, and then I keep getting like the weird A/B testing special features. I always keep getting them first. Someone at Bandcamp must really like me. Shout out to whoever my guardian angel at Bandcamp.
Yeah, I'm on your page right now because the Neodetritus Bandcamp. I can access your.
You're in. As
I'm
the hacker
on
would
your
say.
page. I can add an album as you right now if I wanted to.
Oh,
Uh,
cool. Don't do that, please.
It says add and then vinyl campaign, and you can set up a fucking vinyl campaign.
Well, it's funny because I think I've been.
Final Records 2023.
Yeah, well, no, I was just about to say it's funny because I think I'm the one person on the label least likely to want to do a vinyl.
I did vinyl. I don't care about it. I don't know anymore. I
sick
did it
of it.
once.
I'll leave vinyl to the Taylor Swifts of the world. It seems to be the only people who can get their fucking vinyl in stores.
I feel
It's
like you
actually the pipeline is actually starting to weirdly get unclogged a little bit.
Oh,
yeah?
shit.
Yeah,
I
like,
was expecting that to not take until like 2026.
Oh yeah, I've been talking to like friends of mine who work at record stores, and it's like, no, apparently it's starting to ease up a little bit.
Huh.
Okay. Well, our
really quick too, just sort of like, oh, by the way, it's gonna go back to like 6 weeks instead of 28. So,
Are y'all okay with us pressing this podcast to vinyl then?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, turnaround time seems reasonable enough. That sounds. I mean, we want the fidelity,
Yeah.
It's the
With the
Gaucho
warmth.
episode, right? All that's staying in, none of it's getting edited out because it is the Gaucho episode, and I'm lazy. Let's see. Third World Man. I do have a few thoughts about it. That I didn't get to. Mainly that this is my stinker of the album.
Really?
Stinker is harsh, of course. I'm doing that for humor.
Ain't I a stinker?
I think it is a slightly disappointing ending. I feel like it's a little bit out of place with the rest of the album. And as we'll soon talk about, it's because it is. I'm not trying to hold that against it. But like I think it just is a little bit. It's not a bad song, but it just doesn't finish Gaucho to me. It feels like there's still more that needs to be. There's more Gaucho. I just feel like there should be more.
Well, there was more Gaucho, and then they accidentally deleted it.
Yeah, I
they
guess
had
we'll talk about
Oopsie.
it. So let's talk about that. Yeah. So it does genuinely feel out of place because it was originally for Royal Scam.
Yeah.
Third World Man. And it wasn't even originally called that and had different lyrics and everything. It was originally a song called Were You Blind That Day? I think genuinely the song, the only difference between the versions of Were You Blind That Day that have been released, leaked, released/leaked that we have, it's basically just the backing track to Third World Man, but with the old lyrics and not a lot of the backing vocals.
Right.
It's just Donald, but the lyrics I think are so much better. It's more of a sort of a takedown of like a a guy like trying to be blind to the suffering of the world. Like it's I like it. That was gonna be for Royal Scam, and then they just sort of kept it in their little Steely Dan vault.
That concept feels very, yeah, you're right. That feels very much more like it would fit in with the Royal Scam.
Right. Yeah. And like, anyway, so it's not a bad song. I just feel like it's a little bit out of place because, like we've mentioned a couple times, there were other songs. There are, I believe it was called, oh God, if I'm remembering correctly, is it Heartbreak Souvenir?
I don't actually know.
Do we not know about that one? Okay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is Heartbreak Souvenir. There's a couple songs that got cut, and we've never heard them. And the only reason we know Heartbreak Souvenir exists as a song, fully finished song that was cut from Gaucho, is because our good friend Steve Kahn, the guitarist, was like, "Yeah, I worked on that. We finished it, and they didn't like it and cut it."
And then there were several others like Kind Spirit, Coolie Baba, The Bear, Talking About My Home.
And we're going to talk about the second arrangement in here because
that thing is the only one that you can hear, right?
No, you can actually. I'll send a link in the Zoom chat here in a little bit, probably afterwards when we're wrapping up. There are many outtakes and demos of varying levels of being finished of most of the known lost Gaucho tracks.
Huh.
So Coolie Baba can be heard. There's a couple versions. There's like an up tempo and a low tempo version of Coolie Baba. There's basically kind of one demo tape of The Bear. And there's okay. So the second arrangement, they're working on a song. This is one of the more, I keep bringing Babylon Sisters up. I think that was the one that they spent the most time on. That actually got finished. The one they spent the most time on in full was probably the second arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
They were being meticulous with this. They were being they ended up with 24 separate tracks that compiled the song. 24 tracks, and all of those tracks individually, went through tens and tens of editing processes on their own, right? And then the whole song together, the mix, they went through hundreds of mixes, costing thousands of dollars to put together the second arrangement. And it's worth it because I've heard the demos. I genuinely think this would have been #1 hit. This would have been regarded as one of the greatest Steely Dan songs of all time, if not their best one ever.
Yep.
And they finally are getting down to the wire on finishing up the album, and they're wrapping up second arrangement. And an assistant engineer is told by one of the engineers to rewind the tape, the whole 24-track tape, to rewind it back to the beginning so that they can listen to it again, see if they need to make any changes. He then does this. He also, while doing this, presses the record button. Ugh. They don't realize that he presses the record button until they get to about the 2-minute mark in the song, and they quickly are like, "Oh fuck," and then stop it. So we do have 2 minutes of the instrumental of the second arrangement, but this poor fucking bastard made just a colossal mistake. And it's, anyone can fat finger it. We've all done it. We've all been there. But not like this. I've never been like this.
Never like this. Never like this. I've
They
never
are
erased a whole song by mistake.
Y'all know the Toy Story 2 debacle that is very similar to this?
Oh, sure do.
Yeah, they lost the render or something in a computer crash.
Yeah.
Computer crash, and they basically lost 75 to 80% of the finished film.
Most of the film. Now here's where it's different though. They had a backup, didn't they?
Well, yeah, because someone kind of broke an NDA or something.
No, she was pregnant. She's working from home.
She was pregnant, working from home, brought a computer to home to work on. They realized that's the only existing copy left of the film. And so they have her wrap it in like a mountain of blankets and drive really, really slowly back to Pixar with it. So that's the thing.
All of this happened in your neck of the woods, Nikki, by the way.
Yeah, literally in Point Richmond. I could go over there. Yeah. But yeah, so that's where it's different. This was the master tape of the second arrangement. Half the reason they were rewinding it is so they could make a backup of it.
Oh no!
And it was they only had 2 days left until retirement.
Really, it's almost too perfect. So, Gary Katz and Roger Nichols, they have said and have continued to say that it was both their favorite Steely Dan song that they worked on, and they thought that would have been they also agree with me, and that it would have been an enormous hit. They realized that this happened, and everyone's fucking devastated.
Was he fired?
Now, I haven't read that. I don't know. I would say that that's an overreaction.
Mm-hmm.
This was also the 70s, so I would not put it past them to just be like, get your fat fingers out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. Go get us more cocaine or whatever. No, so they go and they're like, shit, we're gonna have to tell Steely and Dan. So they go
so they weren't even in the room?
They're in the studio, but they just weren't there at the moment that this tragedy happened. So I forget if it's Gary Katz or someone goes to Donald Fagen, who's in the studio. They go and find Donald and they tell him what happened. And without a single word, he just gets up and leaves. He's just gone. Which,
honestly, best way to handle that.
Yeah, he's not yelling. Yeah. He's not. Yeah, it just. But can you imagine that?
If I am in this room for 30 seconds more, it's going to be on the news.
He said that was one of the worst days of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fucking bad. That's so fucking bad. That's the part of the story I did not know was that they weren't in the room when it happened. Is that Gary or the assistant who fucked up had to be the one to tell.
Someone had to be like, yeah. It adds that extra little cherry on top of like, oh fuck, now someone's gotta tell him.
Someone's gotta tell them. Oh god, that's awful.
And that was kind of the camel that broke. I already fucked up that phrase. That's not how it goes. The camel comes afterwards. It really broke Steely Dan to the point where I think it was a large part of why they broke up. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on that led to it. But I think it was just one of the straws.
This is a really awful year.
Because they did try and re-record it. It's not like they just gave up. A couple days, Donald finally returns, and they try again. They spend like thousands of more dollars trying to get back to it, but they just like the mix they were working on was just perfect. You know what?
Get that heat again.
I'm gonna send it. We're gonna listen to it.
Have y'all ever accidentally deleted a song?
No.
Once. There is. And I'm mad about it because it's, I'm not going to say it's a second arrangement thing, but it's a song that I was very proud of and I cannot find it for the life of me. And I either didn't save it right or I accidentally deleted it.
Oh, that's like a lot of my early stuff. I can't find those I can't find the Michael Hess source tapes.
I was going to say, I have the MP3s of some of your early stuff still. I found them on my old laptop from around that time.
I have the MP3s. But, I just can't find the source files. I used to be really meticulous, but
the source files. Oh, all those are gone. Yeah,
I might have source files for like the past 4 or 5 albums of mine are just gone, just disappeared, just gone.
Yeah, I when I wanted to do We Shop Channel Remix 2021 edition, I had to recreate it from scratch.
Yeah,
it was awful.
I think it came out better.
Well, yeah, I mean that was also. I mean, it was good because it wasn't full of fucking sound. Well, I wanted to go back to the thing. I wanted to go back to the original project file, just turn off all the sound goodizer, and that would be fine. I feel like that was the only problem. But no, I had to like recreate the whole. Anyway, I'm gonna edit some of this out. Damn it, make me do work. But we're gonna listen to. You know what? Just take the time to listen to second arrangement, and then everyone come back and we'll talk about it. Okay. So this is like untreated. There's a lot of like remastered versions. They all sound like shit. This is like the original bootleg that's been floating around since the 90s. And the second arrangement is number one. Everyone listen to it and like message in the Zoom chat when you're ready to return to recording, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
What the?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. So that's. Yeah.
That's.
If I had lost that song, I would have killed myself.
I was gonna say I would never record again. I'd be done.
I
wouldn't. No, that's it.
wouldn't
sorry,
be
there's
on
no
this. I
Gaucho
wouldn't
anymore.
be on this planet. I would not be on this planet. I just
I
wouldn't
would've-
be.
I would have scrapped the rest of the record. I would have gone full Brian Wilson smile.
I might have seen how many people I could take with me. It would have been that upsetting. I don't know.
If they had just tomorrow released the exact same file as we just heard it with nothing done to it, it would be the greatest song of the year. It would be like this is just.
Oh, you think Kate Bush had a big 2022? Oh,
No,
you should
like,
see
this
Steely
is
Dance 2023 if they released the second arrangement, just the weird tape that they found on the internet.
Like if this is just a little dirtier than something like Unknown Mortal Orchestra or like a bunch of like lo-fi other bands,
Right?
Yeah.
Like if they turned up the high on this just the treble on this track just a little bit and put it out, the internet would explode. It's the great. Oh my god! The majority of me listening to the second arrangement, y'all, and when I say y'all, I also mean everyone listening to the podcast.
The full collective y'all.
The collective y'all. I spent the majority of listening to this with my head in my hands, going, "Why the fuck didn't they just put this on like a bonus disc or something?"
What? Yeah, or like
this is the first time I'm hearing this song.
I know. This literally is the best version of the song we have.
So good though.
I mean,
great. I don't care about.
It's incredible. Honestly,
I
like
don't care about fidelity. This is an incredible song.
I enjoy, and I feel like I don't know. I enjoy a good tape warble.
Yeah,
It makes it sound great.
yeah,
Okay,
I think it really adds something to this specific song too.
What the last King Gizzard album sounded like.
Yeah, they could have put it out in 2009. They could have rebalanced the tape. They could have made it, just mono, maybe with a little stereo spread.
Indie
Added some
darling,
treble.
indie darling single.
It would have been just. It would have sounded like Neon Indian.
It would have blown Passion Pit out of the fucking water.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I there is a reason I paused the recording of the podcast to just for 5 minutes just to listen to it. The last time I listened to it right before I hopped in the Zoom call. Like
I'm gonna go right back to that.
It's song fucking rules.
Yeah, that was
Screaming now. I apologize to y'all having to like master this at the end. Also, my pizza's ready, so 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Boy. Well,
Holy crap! The second arrangement.
God, it's so good. What
yeah.
the
So
hell?
so folks listening at home, the link I sent to the Zoom was the complete Gaucho outtakes unedited is what is on YouTube. This is just there are many treatments and remixes people try and do because everyone wants to get like the perfect sounding second arrangement. So there's like a ton that are just like, you tried, but like, it's just not going to happen. So if you want to hear like, so this version we're hearing, I don't remember how we got this, because this is obviously not the one that was erased.
Yeah.
This is probably an earlier mix. And if I remember correctly, it is missing it doesn't have the horns.
Yeah. But I don't think it needs it.
No, there's like one spot where you can kind of tell there would have been like a horn sting or something.
Yeah.
But like you don't like it's not that much of a gap, really. Because I mean the rest of the song just grooves so hard. So yeah, I would
Hey, you
check
guys,
out...
give me a second. I'm gonna see what the hell just happened.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, welcome. Oh, and your sound is better.
Yeah, sorry, I've been like messing with levels.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, it probably was because for some reason you were yelling, you got really quiet.
Yeah.
So I gotta like I don't know. Like I said, that's why we do compression.
Yeah.
Shout out to compression.
You know what? Growing up, I was told by, multiple, big wigs and, quote unquote big wigs and like the indie music world and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, compression sucks. It sucks all the life out of everything. And
That's
I
not
didn't
true.
use compression at all until 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And guess what? Compression rules.
It's so good. You just don't overdo it. That's all.
Yeah.
Like that's it. If you listen to We Shop Channel Remix, the original, oh my God. Someone told me, no, compression's really good. You want a lot of it. And then I took that way too seriously. So
you at least want to compress your vocals.
you gotta, yeah, just a little
Yeah.
bit. Just a little bit.
Music making part of the audience, if I can address specifically the music making part of the audience real quick.
Yeah, you camera 2 over there.
Yeah, thank you. You got to compress your vocals. If you don't do anything else, please put compression on your vocals. It's just going to make it sound good, and more than anything else, it's going to make it sound like your vocals belong in the song that you're making and don't just sound like they're either hiding out way in the back or just sitting
slapped on top of.
Or sitting on top of the song.
That's like the hardest thing that like I prefer not doing a lot of lyrics or a lot of vocals, I mean. But a lot of that in the before times, like years and years ago when I was starting out, was mostly because I would try and mix in some vocals and I would just be like, this just sounds like shit.
The other part of this is that I'm a trans person and I've hated my voice for, let me just double check this, birth.
Yeah, so that also is part of it. But the vocoder vocals.
The vocoder, baby.
Let's see. If I had one piece of music production advice that I could give to you right now, like gun to my head, what's the one thing? Turn down your hi-hat. Oh, you think you turned it down enough? Turn down a little bit more.
Yeah, you really got to turn down the. It's not when
I had loud hi-hats for a long time, and sometimes I listen to an old song and go, "Stop! Oh my God!"
Well, yeah, like when I started recording using live drums for the first time a few years ago, that was something I had to learn super quick. Yes. Also, it was partially why I found that last Sufjan Stevens album to be really fucking unlistenable because hi-hats, the loud. The highs, the trebles in that album are so fucking loud. There's a lot of pings and weird little.
It gets painful.
Bells.
It gets genuinely painful to listen to.
Yeah, it's legitimately painful.
I have a tinnitus. How do you pronounce that?
Tinnitus. Yeah.
I have that. And sometimes it'll just clash with it in a way that is deeply unpleasant sometimes. So like I like bright songs. It's not bad to brighten up a song. Yeah. Don't go crazy with the highs. Turn down your hi-hats. The thing is about a hi-hat is that, the way low and high works is like you can have your bass be real quiet and your hi-hat be real quiet at the same level, but it will be perceived to be louder than the bass because of just how the human ear hears stuff like that. We're stalling a little bit because we don't know what happened.
I'm back.
Okay, welcome.
Everything okay?
Sorry, we're cleaning out the office and something just shattered glass, so I had to clean up the glass.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah,
everything all right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I touched broken glass with my bare hand. No, I'm fine.
Rose, do you have any one thing you'd want to tell the musicians listening to out there?
Oh God. I'm still getting back into music. I feel like I don't have anything other than don't get too granular with your sampling. That's something I get lost in.
That's a fantastic piece of advice. Are you kidding? Yeah.
I'm fuzzy on the word granular. Could you expound?
So like the best way I can describe it for me is I hyper focus on trying to make sure that my audio is clipped so perfectly so that I get it to loop as perfectly as I want.
Gotcha.
and I will waste all my energy trying to get
Yeah.
like too
Yeah.
specific and too like chopped up so that I can control every little
Gotcha. Okay.
microsecond.
Another little quick tip about music and the way the brain perceives it. It does not have to be perfect.
It
No,
doesn't have to be perfect at all.
That's
Really
the
does
biggest
not
thing I'm trying to overcome.
Yeah.
Well, that and remembering how to work Ableton.
You
Oh,
want
and-
the loop to do it. You want the loop to loop, but you know, you could fudge it.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, use GarageBand. Just use GarageBand. All the
I
young,
don't
mu-
have a Macintosh.
if you have young musicians, if you have access
Steal a
to-
Macintosh.
steal a Mac, get a Mac. It is literally the only Apple product worth a damn.
Do not buy a new one. Buy a used one that isn't beat up because God,
It's a
boy
pain in
howdy,
the
it's
ass.
just so
Yeah.
expensive.
Hang on, wait,
Yeah.
wait. Mac Minis are $500 now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
the new
Yeah,
ones.
okay,
okay.
get a Mac.
Get a Mac Mini.
Get a Mac Mini, get GarageBand, and just use GarageBand. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that GarageBand sucks. GarageBand is great. It's
Yeah, the
gonna
only-
it's gonna
Yep.
save you so much money. Oh my God, GarageBand will save you so much money.
You make
Yeah.
me want to go back to GarageBand.
Here's
little
the
bit.
thing. You say that, and I've already spent over $2,000 probably on Ableton.
Yeah.
I grew up when I was learning music production stuff, it was all through Reason. And so everything I've been trying to learn is just unlearning Reason.
Mm.
Oh, I
Because it's too
remember.
expensive.
Yeah, I
It's-
remember you used to do a ton of
You don't want to
Reason stuff.
rely on it.
I love it so much, but it's also just like too expensive. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm very much a visual learner. So having that like virtual rack really helps.
Yeah.
Also, there's literally free synth samples all over the goddamn place.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And that's what it is. Once I realized that, I was like, oh wait, I don't need Reason. It's time to learn Ableton.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
Get
I
a
guess.
cheap ass MIDI controller and just browse the internet of just free synth packs. There
I
are
just
thousands of them.
Can I reveal something actually?
Please?
This conversation is the subject of my upcoming first book.
Oh.
Yay, a book.
hell
I,
yeah.
thought- I figured, I don't know, I'll make a movie and a book and a couple albums this year.
Wow,
Nice.
big Nicky year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big Nicky year because
And we're
2022 is
also
kind of a
doing
dud.
we're also doing our thing.
And we're also doing our other thing that is also still happening this year, so that's also on top of it. I'm trying to stay real busy, and I'm streaming more regularly. Going to stream tonight. If you're listening
Nice.
to it in the past, I guess I realized we're on a podcast and not just a conversation.
We're doing our
Um,
thing, which is, by the way, I'm hooking up the camera. I have this big ass JVC camera here that I'm hooking up to work with that.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Hey,
Mace,
Mace, do you have any? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nikki. Go ahead.
No, you were going to ask it. Yeah. Do you have any?
Mace, yeah.
Do you have any tips for the
I-
musicians out there?
Have a ton of tips for musicians. Give up. No.
Yeah. Well, you know.
No, my tip for musicians is get weird. Don't be afraid to like if you hear words in your head, if you hear like a sentence you like, follow that idea, follow the vibe, follow the just like even if it doesn't make any sense, just follow it. Do something as weird as you possibly can and know that you're not making music, and this is do as I say, not as I do. The music that you make doesn't have to appeal to everybody. It doesn't have to be a pop song. Years of Tumblr have poisoned me into thinking that if I don't release my best pop album of all time, nobody's going to listen to it.
Oh God, I still struggle with that. Like, and it gets in the way of actually making anything, which is like counterintuitive. So
Yeah,
don't get trapped in that.
that was my entire last year is worrying about people not listening to my last album and becoming really bitter and fucked up over it.
Yeah,
And
you could drive yourself literally and not figuratively insane over this.
yeah, I came off like a super bitter, why is no one paying attention to me, asshole.
It's
During the-
not healthy.
It's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Back in
Yeah.
like 2009, 2010, I had a Tumblr anon tell me that my music wasn't accessible enough and thus it would never be good. And I've internalized that because I internalize everything everybody tells me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. You shouldn't internalize that. I just remembered I also, when I was still on, I'm back on Tumblr, Sony Sports Walkman, if you want to follow me. On this very blog many years ago, I got an ask that said, you use an arpeggiator too much.
That reminds me of
I thought that was the funniest thing anyone's
God.
ever said to criticize my music because I literally make electronic music. What do you want me to do?
That reminds me of this really fucked Pitchfork review, which, you know,
Which one? You got to
yeah.
narrow it down.
It is a review.
Pitchfork, please notice me.
I think it is a re-review or a review of a reissue of Bad Moon Rising by Sonic Youth. Which is one. I'm not a giant Sonic Youth fan, but that's one of my favorite records by them. But it's the one with the spooky pumpkin man on the cover.
Yeah, that's the one.
I remember internalizing this spitefully when I read that the drummer, whoever was drumming at the time, there was an over-reliance of floor tom, and I'm like, fuck you.
Oh, I think you've told me about that. Because that's just, what does that even mean?
Fuck you. I'm using, that's why I think I used the floor tom more than any other drum.
Just I like to replace the kick drum entirely. Just use a floor tom sample. Why not?
I have some more tips.
Okay, well, this is literally this is good material for my book. I am all stealing it, but we can't just give it away for free, because the title of the book is going to be "How to Make Some Music and Get Maybe $5," and the book will be priced at $5.
You should also don't be afraid of using like a preset.
Oh, that's the other thing. Fuck anyone who tells you that using presets are bad.
I think
Why not?
I think I was also poisoned from one side, the Tumblr people who were like, "Hey, you got to make your music pop music because nobody's going to listen to it if you don't."
That's just wrong. That's just straight up wrong.
From the other side, people who were like, you got to build everything by yourself. You got to use pure data to make your music. You got to be a PD guy.
You got to build your own computer if you want to be a real electronic musician.
You got to build Wendell. You got to
build your own Wendell. Get the schematics from Roger Nichols and build your own fucking Wendell. If it's not a real drum machine
to get into electronic music. No, fuck you. Go to hell. Use a preset.
Yeah,
I'm done.
So this has all been a review of Steely Dan's Gaucho. Everyone check out Gaucho. It's my favorite album of theirs.
Song of the summer.
Song of the summer. Check out all the Lost Gaucho outtakes, second arrangement, Kind Spirit, Were You Blind That Day, The Bear, Coolie Baba, I Can't Write Home About You. I don't know, all of them. And also, if you find Heartbreak Souvenirs, put it on the internet. You will be a hero. But as for the actual album that we did get, folks, are we picking up something good about it?
Right. I'm picking up maybe my second favorite Steely Dan album.
Behind
Countdown to Ecstasy.
For real? Okay, yeah. Okay, that's
I'm stupid. So
no. That's an interesting top two. I don't know how many Dan fans out there, how many Dan heads, how many Dan freaks would have the same top two.
It's like thinking Dance Manatee is great.
That's a guy that exists.
And it's me.
And it's you, of course. God damn it. It's like when someone's like, I love Marmite, and you go, fucking course you do.
I love Apollo 18. No, I don't have no idea. I have no frame of reference for that.
We'll get there. What would that be for They Might Be Giants?
I would say John Henry.
I love Here Come the 1, 2, 3s. I thought it's their best one.
I learned how to spell.
That's the one about numbers, jackass.
I know.
Oh, okay. Rose, are you picking up something good?
I'm also picking up my second favorite Steely Dan album.
Okay, what's your number one?
My number one is Katie Lied. That's my favorite one.
Okay, that's a slightly more normal top two. I don't know if that's super common, but I see it. This could be like the new kind of astrology. What's your top two favorite Steely Dan albums? You're a Katie Lied.
I'm a Katie Lied son with a Gaucho Rising.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Jesus.
My Gaucho is acting up.
My Gaucho. Imagine it, your own personal Gaucho.
My Gaucho won't stop shitting on the floor.
What do you think I'm yelling for? Alex, are you picking up something good?
I'm picking up also my second favorite Steely Dan album.
Oh my God, you people.
My it's weird. It's a band that I fluctuate with My favorites fluctuate a lot
Mhm.
because my first is either going to be Asia or Can't Buy a Thrill.
Huh.
Can't Buy a Thrill is pretty good. I actually did go back to that the other day. Since the episode we did on it. And I was like, yeah, this got better. It aged well, which is to say it aged since December very well to me.
You heard it here first, folks. Nikki is a great big fan of Seabat.
I love Seabat. I really do, honestly. It's very fun. It makes me feel like a fun clown.
What? Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What's Seabat?
We talked about this last episode, the Hudson Mohawk song.
Oh,
Yeah.
That people keep unfortunately shortening to Seabat. People keep unfortunately shortening Can't Buy a Thrill to Seabat in our Steely Dan.
Yeah. It's so good. I am picking up something literally my number one. I guess if I hadn't thought about the top two, actually, now that I'm face to face with it. I mean, saying Gaucho and Asia is just like, so it's like picking Mario and Mario Kart, but I feel like that's my answer.
Yeah, that's like picking like fucking Merriweather Post Pavilion, but that's Merriweather Post Pavilion is still a good album.
But like there's a reason everyone loves Mario
Real
and
good.
Merriweather Post Pavilion.
Mario was a big fan of Merriweather Post Pavilion. He got into Animal Collective in 2008 and thought that those songs were really special to him. But he dropped off once Centipede Hurts hit because he thought it was quote unquote too weird.
He didn't like that it came with a gun.
I just couldn't get into it. Woohoo!
It's a too dense.
They shouldn't have released Today's Supernatural.
What are these guys even on?
Police is a bad song, which is something I share with him.
Wow. Well,
Oh,
Broken Clock, etc. What would Mario's favorite Steely Dan album be?
It would be Can't Buy a Thrill.
absolutely.
No,
Because as a
unfortunately,
plumber,
I have
he's
a
reeling in.
I really think it might be Pretzel Logic.
I was about to say, I think it's going to be Pretzel Logic.
Why is that?
I mean, I can just hear East St. Louis Toodaloo being in a Mario level.
Oh yeah.
Doodaloo.
I don't know. Just seems like it. He just seems like a Pretzel Logic kind of guy.
Yeah.
Luigi, Katie lied, 100%.
100%.
100%.
Mario actually did play trombone and keyboards on Pretzel Logic, so shout out to him.
Oh yeah, that MIDI sounding ass. Yeah, that was Mario. Yeah.
He was a member of Steely Dan before he broke off to be with his brother.
I don't even
They're
think
like
MIDI
the Doobie
was-
Brothers.
Yeah, that's the Doobie Brothers got the idea about being brothers from the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
They were like, we
What-
should be like brothers.
We're really making this episode overlong.
Well, I just was worried we didn't have enough fucking material, so I thought the banter at the end would really pad it out. God, I really have. I'm gonna edit this one, huh? All right. Well, it's just been fun to. It's been a really fun time. This was a breeze.
This is a great 4 hours to share with all of you.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy listening to the 6-hour podcast, and I hope the 8 hours that you spend listening to it go by as quick as these past 12 hours did.
I'm excited to hear these 10 hours while I think about how it's the same amount of time Mark Knopfler worked on this track.
It's there's some science about it. Time. No one knows. Does anyone really know what time it is? Oh, it's a different band.
We did re-record this podcast several times to get the perfect this is actually super rehearsed.
This is take 296.
I'm the 50th guest they've brought in.
Yeah,
My name is Wendell.
We actually had to replace actual Alex with Wendell, about 50 takes in.
They just weren't working out. I don't know.
Please insert hi hat.
Error, too loud. All right, well, folks, we do have to end it at some point. Unfortunately, that is the nature of these things. So it's going to be right here. Thank you for listening to Picking Up Something Good, a limited event prestige podcast about Steely Dan taking place within the months of Steely Dancember, Steely January, and quite possibly Steely Feb Dan.
Be Steely Debuary. It's not going to go into Steely Debuary.
Steely Peguary.
No, Peguary. Because here's the thing. the next episode is just you and me doing the 2000s, and then we're done.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
don't think we
crank-
have much to say about that.
We can crank that out in January. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, we will be back. You spoiled it for everyone. We will be back discussing the return of the Kings.
Steely Dan: The Return, which is, you know, the weird 18-part Steely Dan finale.
God, I would die for a Steely Dan biopic.
I really love
you know
when
how
they got
biopics
introduced as the Roadhouse as the Steely Dan.
yeah. You know how biopics lately are all bad? I want one about Steely Dan, and I want it to be the worst one. I want all of it.
I can recommend Elvis.
He's white.
Hi.
They're, I want that exact scene, but for Steely Dan. They're white,
They're from the East Coast.
but they have that West Coast sound. By golly.
Look, I said it was good. I didn't say that it made sense.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, everyone go listen to Gaucho and watch Elvis, I guess, is the moral.
Yeah.
All right.
And don't forget to make music.
Yeah. And subscribe to this podcast.
Don't forget to be awesome, everybody.
And don't say that because that's someone else's thing. Tell everyone about the podcast. Ignore my co-host when he acts up. Bye.
Wait, hold on. We have to say goodbye.